Welcome back, everybody. Let's take a look at the next exercise, which is build dynamic workflows with a multi-dataset schema scanner. I'll grab the URL for that. We'll be continuing on with the same workspace that we have. So in this one, let me just go in here and clean up my schema. Otherwise, I'll end up with test CSV test. Actually, no, wait, it'll filter that out. Never mind, I can leave that alone. So when reading in a data set, let's change the data set. Right now, it's reading it in from a URL. We're going to change that source. And we're going to do that by selecting multiple files and folders. I'm not sure if this was covered earlier in the course, but FME does have the ability of reading multiple data sets. So I'm going to go to select multiple data sets. Now here we see a folder and a file filter, and it's showing it as if it could do this with a URL. It can't really. Let me just see if that's actually true. So if I go to add files, so I'll add a file, and I'm going to read it in from FME data, resources, and I have dynamic workflows, data, and I want to read in farmers markets. So I'll be reading that in as well. Let's see if it can actually do that. So I've only got 12 features, so it didn't actually read in the web-based one at the same time, because the multiple dataset selector really only supports files. So let me go back into the multiple dataset selector. Oh, delete that one. So that's Cedar Cottage, so I can add a file. There's Cedar Cottage. So what this will do is basically just create a comma-separated list here of files. You can read in multiple files by using a comma-separated list. You can also do other things with this. I'm not sure if this was demonstrated earlier, but you could have it go through subfolders as well, looking for file names. This file filter here is actually editable. It's not regular expressions, it's a glob expression, but you can put wildcards in here. And the subfolders just means that it will add this little star. So it'll check through subfolders of a particular folder. So you could have it go through a number of folders in a folder tree looking for file names that contain a specific, not regular expression, but a glob expression. So you could have wildcards in here as well. So now when I run this, this should be reading in like 23 features. There we are. So now I've got the 23 features. Now, when I inspect those 23 features, you'll notice that this is something that we were discussing earlier. What do you do when there's a bit of a schema drift here? We have a market type and a market name. Market type is only defined on some of the features, but not all of them. So when I go through the schema scanner, right now it's going to scan all of these features. And it's going to be adding market type onto the schema. In the final output, market type will be defined for all the features, but it's not necessarily actually there. So what we want to do here and the output is we're going to change our output file name. And this is going to be broken up by day. So for each day, it's going to basically have a report. The thing is, not all of these markets are open every single day. And there will be times where the day which it's open, it would have null values for a particular attribute for all of the entries. So there's no point in having those attributes defined for that particular day. So I'll run this again. And if I go to the output folder here I can see I have Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, and Wednesday. Open them all up. So this one has some null values, but it's not for every single day. I read them all in a CSV. Yeah, let's sort by day. Okay, so Thursday, Saturday. Okay, so for Saturday here, there is one offering, a couple of offerings there. Thursday, they're all there. Wednesdays. Okay, so on Wednesdays, there's never any value for offerings. So in the Wednesday output file, there's no point in defining the offerings attribute. Someone said I read in 4 CSVs, but it viewed as one table. I missed a setting here. That is a good point. So when you're reading in CSV files, the reader defaults to calling the feature type CSV. CSV files are a folder-based data set. The name of the file itself is the feature type, but when we're reading it in or displaying it, we usually just call it CSV. That is actually a setting on the reader. So if I go into parameters here, we have the FME feature type name. This is going to bring all of those files in as a single CSV feature type. I can do it from the file names. And now when I read this in, this will actually split it up by day. So here I have Saturday, Sunday, etc. So there's my Wednesday, and I can see the offerings are all null. Like all 4 were concatenated. If I group them all into a single feature type, then yes, in this drop down here, they would show up as a single feature type. That was all a reader option to either group them all into a single feature type name, CSV, or in this case, what I've done now is I'm actually using the file name as the feature type name. Okay, where was I? Update the SchemaScanner to group features. So in the SchemaScanner, I want to group by day so that each day has its own unique schema. So I'll turn on groups processing. There we are. And I will group by day. And I'll run to that. So here's my group by. If I look at Wednesdays, notice that all of them have, oh wait, there it is, the offerings. So Wednesday does not have offerings. Now, right now, it's not offering that, or by default, it doesn't have that offerings. It's an unused attribute. But what if you actually do want that on there? You want people to know that there's no offerings. So there are times where you don't want to filter that out. So missing null empty attributes, interpret upstream schema. I believe that will take care of it. So it'll take a look at all the other schema and use that. So now if I go to Wednesday, if I got that right, oh, it collapsed everything. Maybe it wasn't that one. Or include format attributes. I think that's the right one. I might be thinking of something else here. Complete all features received. Oh, that is it. Okay. Yeah, it should have been that upstream. Oh, there it is. Offerings. But I used the other one. I didn't use upstream. Use default. I'll have to take a closer look at that. In the instruction, it says change it from ignore to upstream. It might be use default. Experiment with both of those. Let me know what you find. Okay, so that is the exercise, build dynamic workflows with multi-dataset SchemaScanner. So please do the exercise. It's 11:52. We'll continue at, let me think here, 11:10. Is that enough time? 10:20. Yes, that should give us enough time to get through everything. Not 11:10, 12:10. There we go. Okay, good luck, everybody.